Have you ever just had one of those days where you consumed so much information? Like you were on calls with people who were just talking about things. You went to classes maybe where you took in information there. Maybe you even had an opportunity to scroll a little bit on social media. And some of the people that you follow may have been telling you stories or may have been giving you facts in some way, just constant information all day. And then you have a moment where you're kind of questioning everything you knew before because you just took in so much new information. And a lot of it was so different from the perspective that you were holding on to, right? When we learn something new, it forces us to let go of the self that was us who had and held on to that old information. Because now we know. And that's where that phrase comes from, right? Ignorance is bliss. And oftentimes in different interviews that I've done, I talk about the product-based business that I started my entrepreneurship journey with. And I say that that product-based business allowed me to grow a successful business in the blissful ignorance of my own self-worth. Because I didn't have to think about it. I didn't think about it as being associated with the business. But when you switch to a service-based business model, especially something like coaching, a lot of times people have to buy into you, your energy, who you are, how you are, your story before they even care about what it is that you actually do for a living. Before they want to know how it can help them, they want to know who you are. They want to know that they can trust you. They want to know that they can rely that you're a backbone, that you're a foundation. And so I say that to say, like, today was one of those days. I was up at 6 in the morning. And then I decided, because I had the energy, I had the bandwidth, my generator battery was like, yeah, you can do it. I went to this law of attraction kind of networking mastermind call, and the conversations there were great. Like, I now have added a movie to my watch list because it's The Hill on Netflix, and they were talking about just how much adversity this person had to face and how much that relates to like desire and drive and pushing towards what it is that you want. So of course, that was a great call. 9 o'clock was technically a call because it was yoga. And really, when I shifted my perspective there around like it being something I have to do, it being like working out or it being a part of the daily habits that make somebody successful, like when I just made it a goal to connect with my body, which is what yoga is all about. It's not about the positions, the poses, any of that. It's about connecting with your body. That's why so many times the instructors will say maybe or I invite you because it just wants you to get curious with your body. Is it an ooh or is it an ouch, right? What can you do? And then 10 o'clock, business partners call. And that was obviously needed. Had a small break where I did some things for me. I had some food. I took a shower. Because at 12, Q&A call. And on that call, that was the call because it was for a summit. And it was a Q&A call. And there were 7 or 8 of us on there, including the person who was asking the questions. And obviously, we're people who spoke or gave a presentation during the summit. And so this is the opportunity for the guests to come and connect and ask any questions or send any questions to help them up-level their marketing. And so consequently, for lack of better phrasing in this moment, that meant all of us had to take this position, this stance firmly on what it is that we were saying. And obviously that builds authority, that builds credibility because you're confident in what you're saying. But the thing that tripped me up was someone had said very strongly that your membership, if you're going to have a membership for your business, it should be the last thing that you build. And that's hit me deeply simply because in October of last year, I made the decision to stop pursuing these high ticket offers, especially knowing that the people that I'm around, especially, like, they want something that's affordable. And so high ticket for me always felt weird simply because my design and whatever stuff that I'm still working through. So I launched a membership. And that's been my focus, is having an event every month where I introduce people to, what does your energy look like? How do opportunities come to you? What are green and red flags in your body? How does your personality, your character role show up in this incarnation, in this movie of light? And we even talk about incarnation cross a little bit. And so I give people information, which when people share their ahas, it's like, yes, you get it. You see the flaw in the system that we're all a part of, and you see that spark that I saw. Like, yes. And then, of course, for people who want to dive deeper and really and it is an invitation for those people who want support on that journey, who want to understand this material in a deeper way, who want to contemplate the information, who want to begin this transformation, this awakening, if you will, this new beginning into being the person who they were designed to be versus the person they learned to be. And I feel very strongly. I have been adding things to it. I don't want to call it a mastermind because that just seems like a buzzword right now. But it has weekly calls every Tuesday. We have monthly master classes where we dive deep into each of the energy centers. And then I just added like co-working, co-creation sessions on like new moons, as well as bi-weekly heart seat coaching. It's kind of my play on hot seat coaching, but it's heart seat coaching. And it's really because the weekly calls, they start with us celebrating our wins. And then we talk about the energy that's in the environment, because while your chart doesn't change, the planets move and shift and shake, and they activate different parts of your chart. So you are having temporary access to gifts, to energy that you don't normally have. And if you don't know and you're in the conditioned expression of that, you're living in reaction to it versus using it to help you up level whatever it is you're already doing. So we talk about the energy on the Tuesday call, and then we end in gratitude. So it's a very kind of structured call, and it doesn't really leave a lot of time for like questions or diving into, their chart, or, wanting to see how they can use their design more in their business marketing, or wanting to understand why their partner or their kid said this thing and why are you this way? Right? And having someone who can literally look at the energetics and be like, well, this is where your triggers are, and this is them just naturally who they are. And so that's why this kind of situation happened. And it gives a point of communication for resolving conflict and different situations and dynamics. So this is obviously, I didn't mean to talk about it that much, but this is obviously something that I care deeply about, and I'm building and I'm putting my focus to it. And I don't know if someone would call it high ticket at its current price point right now. It's $97 a month. And I feel expansive. I feel spacious, especially because the workshops are an entry point for people. And then I'm working on getting things set up for people to just be able to get their own custom reports. So doing things like that while I'm sleeping. So it doesn't matter what time zone they're in. So like all of these things will be working. So coming back to the Q&A session and having one person say very strongly, and then the thing that I think solidified it kind of as a feeling in my chest that was like, ooh, was the person, the moderator who's in charge of the summit, was agreeing. Like, and she does marketing on like Pinterest and things. And so here are these two people, authorities, and I'm an authority as well. I had already answered my question, but in a different way, they're authorities. And so they're talking about how membership should be last. And in that moment, I forgot who I was. And I forgot all of the things that I've been learning especially diving into the quantum human design of it all. And I started to question myself. I started to doubt myself. My ego started to kick in, started comparing me. And I knew very quickly that I needed to get out of that conversation. Luckily, I had a call starting up 12 to 1, and then I had a 1. And that call was scheduled for 3 hours. Thankfully, it ended about 25 minutes early, just shy of 3 hours. But that call was one of my mentors shifting more into a business kind of practice versus teaching human design, which she did. And she was talking about her 6-figure flow. And one of the things that I took a lot of notes, there was a lot of information. And I think there's a previous version of me who would have heard the offer and it would have been this immediate pressure, this urgency to be like, you need that. And now I know that I'm in my emotional authority enough to know, like, even if I did feel that way, I know I'm going to at least have to sleep on it. So let's calm down and let's relax because nothing's happening today. And there was a part of me or an old version of me that would have like leapt at it. But I'm really taking it and looking at it because some of the things that were said I actually learned in a very expensive other program that I bought into. A lot of the things, it was like, you already know this. What is this program going to teach you? What is it going to add more stress to what you're doing? Especially because it's being launched by a splenic projector. So she doesn't have a lot of the details together. And I'm a 1-line and I need all the details. And she's like, yeah, we might start on the 5th, maybe the 12th. Yeah, I think maybe the March 12th. And I'm like, oh my gosh, which one? Because I need to know where I need to schedule things off. Like, I'm freaking out. And just knowing that, even as I record this video, knowing that like I feel this way, it's not aligned. Because if it is not a hell yes, then I have learned that it's likely a hell no. But I digress. And so thankfully, this was learned at the 10 o'clock meeting, the business partner meeting, that our 4 p.m. mastermind was canceled. So I'm sitting here in this moment and I'm like processing all of the information I took in and just really sitting with it and taking in what I've learned and recognizing when the ego is stepping in and is trying to be like, oh, remember that thing that happened? And it's like that separation. It's like that clarity, that space. And one of the things, which is what prompted me to press record, I was like, what if you could capture this real time? And at first it was like, do you want to go live? I was like, no. And so I say this to say it takes an extreme amount of awareness to recognize and process what's happening in your body, being able to associate which gene key, which trigger, which shadow might be coming into play. Or on the human design side, seeing, actually it's called shadow expression there too. Or what high expression are you ignoring? What parts of you are you forgetting? And so I extend the invitation that if you want this type of awareness, if you want to understand how to not let your external environment, whether that's your family, your partner, comparing yourself at work or imposter syndrome in business, like if you want to not let the external environment around you, the external noise, or even that internal critic be the thing that kind of guides or pressures you into making decisions, and you want that inner peace, that inner alignment, then I would love to chat with you. I do a monthly workshop every month. I'm going to definitely put the link down below because I'd love to have your energy there. Where, like I said at the beginning, we talk about those different things about your design. And of course, there is an invitation if you want to really begin this experiment. Because one thing that I have started to understand is that we are pressured externally so much, especially with the election that we just had. I remember on a podcast someone saying like people are questioning like the TikTok ban that happened and whether we can say things, and a lot of people are talking about end stage capitalism. There's a lot of things to possibly be freaking out about. And I get bits and pieces because I try not to scroll on social media. I try to keep my YouTube rabbit holes very much on like universal law, comedic principles, Neville Goddard. And so you have to be able to find that internal peace. You have to be able to look within yourself and find that, like, okay, this is what I know to be true. This is what I know to be true about me. So I recognize that what I'm feeling this, it's actually another level that I could be tapping into, that I could be shifting into another frequency. And so that is my invitation to you. Join me at my next workshop. And if you want to dive even deeper, I do have one-to-one offerings on my website. And of course, Limitless University is open to you. So until next time, my lovely.